that you know we were there with you. In conclusion, class of 2017, as you pass through the many transitions of life and historical moments still to come, I hope you cherish the friends and happy memories you share with each other. With the support of the Hingham community as your anchor, be well and do good as you make your way in the world. Thank you.
And now, the class salutatorian, Noah Goodman.
Hello there. First off, I'd like to thank all the parents and family members who came out here today, the band and Mr. Sincata for their wonderful music, and the faculty of the high school, especially Dr. Gerard McCann. Thank you for all your years of service and dedication. Now, let's begin. When I first sat down to write a speech for this occasion, I knew that it had to accomplish two things. It had to be both meaningful and relatable. I already had a general idea of what I wanted the message of my speech to be, but when it came to finding a relatable topic, I was having trouble. Originally, the first thing that came to mind was ice cream, because who doesn't love ice cream? As it turns out, though, a bunch of people don't like ice cream, including vegans, lactose-intolerant folk, haters of delicious food. So that topic was out. My next thought, cheeseburgers. Everybody can relate to that, right? Wrong again. Then it hit me. I was actually just really hungry, so I went and ate something. But when I came back, hunger satisfied, it dawned on me. Like it or not, everyone in our class has at some point in their Hingham public school career been faced with the 5-paragraph essay, a hallmark of our town's education system. So, without further ado, allow me to explain how all of our lives fit into the format of a 5-paragraph essay. Everybody's life starts with the hook, or lead. And we should all be proud that we've drafted such solid foundations so far. But keep in mind, we've only written a bit of information that may be only tangentially related to what is to come. This is roughly our first 12 years on this earth, an intriguing time that only hints at the future. Then comes an awkward transition sentence or two that subtly name drops Charles Dickens, but we're not going to go any further into this part because for the purpose of our analogy, this is middle school, and I don't think anyone really wants to go further to middle school than we have to. Okay, now for the good stuff. Next comes the thesis, followed by its developing ideas. In this part of the essay, the author finally tells us what it's all about, the main idea. In addition to this thesis, we also see the beginnings of the evidence that will back it up. The real-world equivalent of this is high school, that thing that we just finished. In high school, we begin to form our personal identities, our personal theses. Much is still unknown for the future to come, but many of us now at least have a vague idea of where we will be 10 years from now. Furthermore, the factors in life that contribute to our identities, our own personal developing ideas, if you will, become clear. These factors are our friends, education, passions, beliefs, and all of which will play a role in our lives to come. At this point in the essay, a lot has happened so far. We've captured the reader's attention, formed a coherent thesis, and laid out the framework for proving it, all in a single short paragraph, which is arguably the most important and most difficult paragraph to write in the entire essay. We've all come a long way in our 18 years on this earth as well, and it hasn't necessarily been easy. These years have laid the foundation for what is to come, and we should all be proud that we've drafted such solid foundations so far. But keep in mind, we've only written a single paragraph and we still have 4 to go, so we should probably get writing. Next up are the 3 body paragraphs. These guys contain the content of the essay, the heart of your analysis, your life as an adult. The unique thing about the body paragraphs is that everybody approaches them differently. Some people see their adult lives chronologically in terms of college, then work, then retirement. Some view it in categories such as friends, jobs, and family, and others think about it completely differently. But in every case, the key to writing strong, focused body paragraphs is having a well-developed thesis. And I think that our years at Hingham High School have done a fine job in providing each of us with exactly that. Now, all that remains is to go out in the world and use this thesis to create 3, not 2, but 3 strong, healthy body paragraphs. And I believe that each and every one of us has the potential to do this, if he or she so chooses. Having discussed our lives past in the form of the introductory paragraphs, and our lives to come in the form of 3 body paragraphs, it may seem like we are done with this analogy now. But wait, there's more. We've only talked about 4 out of 5 paragraphs, so now let us move on to the conclusion. The purpose of the conclusion in a 5-paragraph essay is to sum everything up and to give it all greater meaning in the reach for significance, or the RFS as it is known. Often, however, I find that a meaningful RFS can be rather hard to attain, and it just ends up seeming like a stretch. For example, I'm sure that at 11:37 p.m., I thought it was a brilliant conclusion to connect Romeo and Juliet to the Beastie Boys. But on further reflection, I realized this was not the best of ideas. In an essay, such a weak RFS may not have any real consequences, but when it comes to life, the implications can be much more far-reaching. Thus, I urge everyone here not to only go about life with the purpose and vision afforded by their personal thesis, but I ask you all to go a step further and look for the meaning in this life as well. Because no matter how solid your analysis is, no matter how successful your life, without that reach for significance, that desire to understand the purpose of life itself, we are barely better than machines. So as we sit here, honoring our achievements in life so far, know that this is just the introduction to something much greater, and use this knowledge to shape your life into an essay that any English teacher would be proud of. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Noah. And now, the class valedictorian, Kyle Sutton.
Hello. Looks like we finally made it. I can't believe I'm speaking in front of such a remarkable class. You definitely don't need me to give you advice on how to succeed, so I won't bother giving it to you today. Instead, I thought I would talk to you about failure. Like many of you here, I played youth sports, 8 or so seasons of Hingham Little League. But unlike many of you here, I was terrible, like god-awful. Like, I think I was actually the worst player in the history of Hingham Little League. Don't believe me? In my 8-ish years of baseball, I didn't get a single hit. Not one. Not one single hit. Yeah, I know. But I kept going back, year after year until the end of Major League, when I realized that I would need at least some semblance of talent to continue to Babe Ruth. I never improved. But what I did learn was that the world wouldn't end if I was bad at something. I'm not perfect and life goes on. To put this into perspective, at 4 years old, I would bring myself almost to tears at the prospect of biting a cookie because I knew it would no longer be a perfect circle. I have had many similar failures over the years, including my experiences playing the trumpet, sorry, Mr. Sincata, and rowing crew. But through each of these experiences, I've met people who I wouldn't have otherwise known, and I've learned valuable lessons, and I lived to tell the tale. So don't be afraid to fail. And not just that, seek out failure so that you aren't afraid of it. Because the only thing a fear of failure will get you is a boring life. Do the things you love and that you're good at, but also the things that you might not be so good at. You never know who you will meet or what you will learn, but you will be better off having done so. I'm incredibly humbled to be standing here today because I know I'm surrounded by individuals who will be successful in whatever they decide to do, despite whatever stumbles they may have along the way. This seems like a good time to thank everyone who has stood by me through mine, teachers, coaches, friends, and especially my parents. I'd also like to thank Dr. Gerard McCann for all the support she has given us over the last 4 years, attending every sporting event, awards night, drama production, and band, chorus, or orchestra concert she could. I'm honored to be giving the final valedictorian speech of her career. Thank you for everything. So to the class of 2017, I say, go out and be successful, like I know you will, but don't forget to fail a little. Thank you.
And now, our student speaker, Alexander Ferrara. Embrace the unfamiliar.
Back in kindergarten, Owen Murray and I had those half-day kindergarten classes where every day was a late start. Could you imagine that? Our parents would drop each other off at one another's houses, and we'd eat Annie's mac and cheese and watch Ellen DeGeneres before boarding that big yellow school bus that brought us to school. The combination of Ellen's soothing voice and macaroni cheese brought us comfort in our kindergarten adventures. In first grade, a random kid who I'd never spoken to before came up to me on the very first day of school and said, "Hey, do you like video games?" I said, "Heck yes." That was James Margata, and he's been one of my closest friends since. It was awesome to create a bond that has still lasted so long. In third grade, I won best costume at Sean Murphy's Halloween party. I had this Grim Reaper-looking costume and with light-up red eyes. I was so scary. Sean, I literally still have that trophy. I'm not joking. I cherish that thing. In fourth grade, Vance Cassell and I tried to start a comic book business, and we made amazing comics for about 2 weeks. Then I lost them all. It almost killed our friendship until I later found them, but for that brief period, it made me sad to have lost a friend. During freshman year history, Quinn Smith, the kid I absolutely despised in middle school, sat next to me and became my great dabbing buddy. Sorry I had to beat you on that superlative, man, because I genuinely believed you earned it over me, although it was awesome to be recognized for my talents. Also during my freshman year, Ryan Finney, a kid who I barely just met the season before in winter track, tried his absolute hardest to get me a goal at the end of the lacrosse season. He told me, "Stay right in front of the net, do not move, and I will just pass it to you over and over again until you get a goal." It was awesome that a teammate would do that for me. Sophomore year, I came late to school one day after getting my braces off. I was on my way to Mr. Woolley's World History class, liberated from the literal chain cemented to my teeth. I felt like $1,000,000. As I walked in, apparently everyone knew why I was late and had told Mr. Woolley. So everyone began cheering and everyone was clapping, and I was smiling with my mouth wide open, literally for the first time ever. And people just made an amazing moment for me. Just a week or two ago, I had finally given my stand-up comedy routine in satire class, a project I had been looking forward to pretty much my entire high school career. If you hadn't noticed, I enjoy speaking in front of large audiences. As I left class, Patrick Bird came up to me and gave me a very heartfelt compliment. It was just amazing to receive such kind words from a classmate. These moments stick out from the traditional high school memories, such as the very first day, the last day, the senior prom, the first varsity game, the graduation. But for every single one of these big moments you expect to never forget, there are thousands of small memories like the ones I've just listed to you. And I'd keep you all till dinner if I tried to list them all, and to be honest, I'm not sure if I could remember every single one. And for a long time, I feared this. I feared forgetting these awesome memories. I didn't want to continue the rest of my life and forget this place and the people, because this town has just been such an important part of my life. I don't think I could bear forgetting. But the more I thought about this, something dawned on me. Some of these best memories are the ones that are out of place amongst the rest. None of my teammates ever tried to help me in lacrosse until Finney came along. And it's not every day you get rewarded with a plastic skeleton for best costume on Halloween. Neither is it every day you mend a rivalry through the art of interpretive dabbing. These memories that are unfamiliar from the rest are the greatest ones. Up until this point, my whole life has been this town and school. This repetitive cycle of waking up every day and going to the same school has fostered a sense of familiarity that I realized I have to soon give up. This last leap, graduating into the absolutely unfamiliar world, is what scared me. You see, there are doors in life that transition you to the next stage. We're on the brink of opening the exciting door to adulthood, but we have to accept that this door closes behind us. We'll never be able to go back and relive these days. But there's one thing we can bring through the door: the memories, the comfort of Mac and Cheese and Ellen DeGeneres, or the team camaraderie of freshman lacrosse. Through this, we can save a slice of nostalgia for those days in our future when we need that sense of familiarity. But today, we celebrate the beginning of our transition into adulthood. So I urge you all, do not fear the unfamiliar. Embrace it. Maybe I'm just a sentimentalist, but I've genuinely loved the past 4 years and all the people who I've got to spend it with. And I'm excited to see what's next. I'm excited to open that door, and I'm ready to hear it shut behind me. Thank you all for your time.
And now the class president, Maxwell Giarusso.
Hi, everyone. First of all, it's been an absolute honor to work as your class president over the past 3 years. I couldn't be more proud to graduate alongside such an amazing group of people. Thank you to Ms. O'Connor and Mr. Raymond for taking on the roles as our class advisors, and to Brad, Elizabeth, and Noah for working with me as class officers. I'll never forget what we've accomplished these past 4 years, or the memories that we've made along the way. Thank you to my parents, grandparents, and siblings for being the most loving people that I've ever met. I know that you're there for me whenever I need you, and even when I don't. Now, over the past 4 years, our class has raised over $62,000. But we didn't just fundraise. We brought back the snowball. We sent over 280 seniors around town to complete a collective 1,400 hours of community service. We helped earn our school its first ever National Green Ribbon. We raised awareness about rape culture through Slut the Play. We fought for and won several Patriot League championships. We came together as a class and accomplished amazing things. And while we did accomplish all of this as a group, none of it would have been possible without the help of one dedicated individual. For the past 17 years, this person has given everything she has to this school and to this community. Although we've been here for only 4 years, it takes only moments to notice how much she cares about HHS. This individual is Dr. Paula Gerard McCann. Dr. Gerard McCann, on behalf of the class of 2017, we thank you for your dedication to this school.
I don't think that's the speech we practiced, Max, is it? Thank you. Oh, man. Thank you. I've had so many bouquets in my life. Thank you. Oh, gosh. I know. Wow. I feel like I'm giving up here. Oh, no, thank you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. But not the speech you practiced.
I'll get to that.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Now, given my family history, it's only appropriate that I use this opportunity to tell a lacrosse story. Starting lacrosse my freshman year, having never even touched a lacrosse stick before, was one of the hardest things that I've ever done. Throughout my freshman and sophomore years, each game I would play my heart out, yet at the end of the day, I would still sulk in my failure to score a goal. But day by day and game by game, the lacrosse season slowly came to an end. And by the last game of my sophomore year, I was one of only 2 players left on the team who had yet to score a goal. I had an unquenchable desire to score during the last game, and by halftime, I was the only scoreless player left on the team. Over the course of the first half, I had taken over 15 shots on goal, all of which were to no avail. And I continued to take shot after shot, each time letting down my team yet again. As the clock ticked down to the final minute of the game, I began to lose hope altogether. By this point, I had taken over 30 shots on goal. My coach challenged me from the edge of the field. 30 seconds left. I made my way down the field one last time, running parallel to my teammate who had the ball. When we got right in front of the goal, he passed it to me. I took another shot. The ball hit the ground right in front of the goal and bounced straight up into the air. I remember watching in horror as it hit the top post of the goal before finally bouncing back down into the net. I had scored my first goal in the last 22 seconds of the last lacrosse game of my life. Thank you. Now, there's an obvious lesson to this story. Never give up, persevere through the good and the bad, blah, blah, blah. And originally, that was the only message that I hoped to get across to you by sharing this story. But while I was thinking of things to write about for this speech, I came across a quote that I had written down during a study hall of my sophomore year from none other than Mr. Raymond himself. If you're only waiting for the reward, you're not living your life. Reading that quote after writing on this story made me think. I've been waiting the entire lacrosse season to score a goal, all the while not truly enjoying the fun of the game. My team won every single game of that season, yet each day I went home frustrated with myself for not scoring. And although that goal in the last 22 seconds of the game was one of my proudest moments, I realize now that it didn't change anything. At the time, I used it as an excuse for enjoying the entire lacrosse season, when in reality, I probably would have enjoyed the season more had I never scored and had never been hung up on that fact. Our graduation here is like the last 22 seconds of that game. We walk across this field one by one to receive our diplomas. And as we go on to the next stage in your life, I challenge you to live in the moment. Don't do what you do because of some faraway goal in the future. Do what you do because you may never have these last 22 seconds ever again. Take a deep breath and live for right now. If you're only waiting for the reward, you're not living your life. I wish you all the best of luck wherever life takes you in these next few years, and I can't wait to catch up at our next class reunion. Thank you.
Thank you yet again for everything you've done. Dr. Gallo, it gives me great pleasure to certify to you that all those receiving diplomas today have met all the requirements for graduation as established by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the Hingham School Committee. Graduates, please come forward to receive your diplomas.
Nolan Ahern. Daniel Ahern. Kylie Amar. Teresa Bandera. Caroline Barlow. Maya Bass. Maxwell Bellamy. Rachel Beeling. Patrick Bird.